Hello. Hi, everyone. We're coming through okay. Can you see us and hear us and stuff? Marty might be back at some point. Who knows? Play some fighting fans. I think everything should pretty much be working. Rach has got the adventure sheet at hand. Rach is in charge of the iPad. We've got an actual book that we'll be playing with. We've got to make our character. Just make sure that everything is YouTube happy? YouTube's not really ever happy. I think it's kind of going through. So I've done one of these for like nearly 2 years. I think we did a digital one. I remember getting kind of trapped in it. We do like the very first Fighting Fantasy in, I think it was like the Steam version of it. And I remember we just got lost in a maze for ages. We did like 3 episodes of it, and I think the second stream was about 2 hours of us just going around in circles in a maze. I think so. Hi Matt, how's it going? And this might well be the last stream of 2022. There's still some more videos to come. The top 10 is coming up tomorrow, and there's some more playthroughs ready to come up on the channel, stroke Patreon. Hey, if you'd like to support the channel, patreon.com/slickerdrips. It's linked in the description, or there's Ko-fi as well. That's kind of down on this camera. Yeah, there's more playthroughs than that to come, but this might be the last live one for a bit. So we are going to be going through some choose your own adventure kind of stuff. So Fighting Fantasy, the classic series. I think we did, yeah, one of the originals, one of the first ones. This is from kind of a newer batch that they do now. I think they've kind of renumbered them, because in the book here, it's like it lists 17 of them. I'm pretty sure there's about 1 billion.
I had a box set of like, maybe only 15.
Yeah, maybe it's like the numbering for like just this latest edition, because there's now like guest authors going in. I don't know if it was always Steve Jackson and or Ian Livingstone did the original ones, and they're still doing some, aren't they? I think Ian Livingstone's just done another one. But yeah, there's guests. There's like, I think Charlie Higson's written one. Rhianna Pratchett is the first female author, the first guest woman to write one. And so we're going to be trying out some Crystal of Storms, which I bought to do this with, and then it's been a couple of years. It seems this came out in like October 2020, so it's sometimes things take a while to end up happening. Hey James, it's all coming through all right. Good. Well, actually, I hope that is the audio coming through okay with the face camera? Because I thought I've got this out to record the top 10 with, and I've just realised that all of the sync stuff is numbered to the other cameras. So if it looks all right, then that's fine. It's just as long as our voices and stuff aren't out of sync. You'll have to try and figure out how I would sort all of that out. Sounds good? Great. So the first thing we need to do before we kind of step in is generate our character. So the book's got a load of these adventure sheets in the back of it, or you can go and get a PDF online. So we need to determine our skill, stamina, and luck. So Rach, if you write in the little boxes, so you can zoom in on this, and it won't change like what everyone else sees. Yep. So write in like a little number what our initial skill is, and then in a big number like what our current one is. So skill reflects your swordsmanship and fighting expertise. The higher the better. So it all comes down to the roll of a die. So for your skill, you roll 1 die. 3. Add 6 to this number and enter the total in the skill box on the adventure sheet. For your stamina, this represents your strength. The higher your stamina, the longer you will survive. Roll both dice. 8. Add 12 to the number rolled and enter the total in the stamina box. That's pretty good. And then finally, luck represents how lucky a person you are. Luck and magic are facts of life in the fantasy world you are about to explore. Roll 1 die. Come on, let's be lucky. 3. Add 6 to this number and enter the total in the luck box. Skill, stamina, and luck change constantly So keeping a razor handy. We might gain or lose skill, stamina, and luck throughout it, but you can't go beyond your initial starting scores. So we don't need to know how battles and stuff work just yet. I think that's all we need to do, kind of preliminary stuff. Yeah, it'll tell us when we need to use luck and things like that. So I think we can dive in to there's a bit of background first. And I think Rach is going to be our storytime facilitator. If I can get the bigger window up. There we go. That should be nice and big to see the screen. Unfortunately, I don't know how to get that. There's a bit of a glitch in the program that shows the iPad on screen. And there's just like, there's a big white bar in the middle of the monitor that says iPad. So you're just going to have to read around that. Go for it, Rach.
The Tempest children of Pangara, god of the wind, have long reigned over the waters between Alancia and Kull. Many who sought to cross the perilous ocean of tempests have lost their lives to the raging storms or the terrifying sea creatures that dwell there. But deep within Zephyrus, largest of all the tempests, where the air is sweet and calm, lies the floating archipelago of Pangaria. The 5 islands of Cirrus, Altos, Cumulus, Incus, and Espiritus surround a 6th small island known as Nimbus. You were born and raised in Pangaria, but whilst many of your friends have opted to join the working communities of their home isles, such as cloudkin farming on the water island of Altos, or wrangling the magical yet tasty fauna of Cirrus, you dreamed bigger. You didn't want to settle for just one island, you wanted to see it all, and so you decided to join the Skywatch, the guardians of peace within the whole of Pangaria. But your beloved home has a lot of peace to go around, and your first few weeks in the Skywatch have been a rather dull parade of lost pets and mediating petty squabbles regarding overgrown shrubs. Your heart cries out for adventure. And then one fine morning an urgent message arrives at your watch house, summoning all the Skywatch to an emergency meeting in the Citadel on Nimbus. It seems that adventure has finally listened and answered your plea. Full of nervous excitement, your entire watch house boards the local flyer, one of the small airships that transport Pangarians between islands. No one seems to know the purpose of the meeting, but it is bound to be something quite extraordinary for the entire Skywatch to be summoned. You've only been to the Citadel once, when you were sworn into the Skywatch, and it still holds newness and excitement for you. Stretching, you lean your head out of the flyer window and crane your neck in order to get the first glimpse of the towering spires and sculpted ramparts of the Citadel, the home of Pangaria's lawmakers, diplomats, and island officials. The flyer's goblin pilot wearily reminds you to keep all limbs inside the ship, lest you lose something essential. Although you've heard tell that there are tribes of goblins out in the world who are aggressive towards humans and other species, the goblins of Pangaria are largely friendly. Most importantly, they develop the Technomancy, a blend of elemental magic and engineering that keeps Pangaria airborne. You are just about to disembark and take your first steps onto Nimbus when your commander, Captain Halleck, looks aghast. "By Zephyrus's breath!" he exclaims, looking directly at you. "I've forgotten my hovers! Can't be seen in the Citadel without those. Please retrieve them from the watch house, recruit." He pats at his pocket, searching for something. "Bring my coin bag too." You nod. As the newest member of your watch house, you don't really have a choice. Remaining on board the flyer as the rest of the watch disembarks, you hope you can get there and back without missing anything exciting. Seeing your frustration, the flyer's pilot softens and cranks up the craft to its top speed and brings you right up to the watch house door. You rush inside and soon return, clutching the small leather purse, jingling with coins and carrying Halleck's hovers. Up close you can't help but marvel at the intricate, light-as-air metalwork of these portable wings, powered by storm crystals, harvested and gathered from the local tempest by the elemental stormborns. You look forward to the day when you are senior enough to get your own pair. You check the crystal gauge, which is attached to a small blue-green storm crystal that has a tiny imprisoned tempest swirling inside it. It's a third full, but there's no time to charge the wings. You throw yourself back into the flyer. The little airship has barely had time to set down when you leap from the bulwark and start to sprint towards the Citadel. Suddenly, a great explosion rocks Nimbus and a wave of energy surges outwards from the fortress, catapulting you through the air and over the edge of the island. You begin to plummet downwards. Your adventure awaits. May your stamina never fail.
There we go, there's our setting. Marty Cam is on, but he did get up just before we started, unfortunately. He might come and join us. He's in the corner, he's in the corner of the screen. Hey, Tarzan, the number is based on, like, the new publisher. Okay, yeah, I thought there were way more than that. Hey, Heroic Logic, how's it going? You're just in time for the start.
The explosion has knocked the wind out of you. There's only one thing you can do to save yourself as you tumble through the howling air. You manage to struggle into Halleck's hovers, and the wings unfold with a soft thwack, thwack, thwack sound. Your fall ceases as the hovers slow your descent and hold you aloft. Your relief turns to fear as you look up and realise that now it's Nimbus which is falling, straight towards you. Using your shoulder muscles to operate the hovers, you manage to steer yourself out of the path of the falling island as it hurtles past, tossing you around like a feather on the breeze. You gain control only to see Nimbus crashing into the sea far below. You watch in horror as the island begins to sink beneath the waves. You become aware of an unsettling humming sound, and the wings begin to shudder. The crystal that powers the hovers must be running out of charge. There's just enough power left to fly you to the safety of your home island. If your home island is Cirrus, the farming island, turn to 84. If your home island is Altos, the water island, turn to 196. And if your home island is Cumulus, the island of trade, turn to 298.
What do you reckon, Rach? What's our home island?
Or do we want to be farming, water, or trading?
That's our choice, Rach.
Or have I got to make the first choice?
I think you should make the decision as the storyteller.
I think water.
Water?
Yeah, let's go fishing. I'd like to imagine.
Just to get us going. 196. I don't know what the lag's like on the chat. I don't think it shouldn't be too big. Uh-oh.
As you descend towards Altos, the sentient clouds which are farmed there and known as cloudkins scatter like frightened sheep, some of them shedding a little water as they float speedily away from you. You drink in the beautiful sight of Altos from above. Lakes, rivers and waterfalls sparkle in the sunshine. Despite the horror of what you've witnessed, it gladdens your heart just a little to see your home isle. But in your joy at seeing Altos, you fly too close to a mother cloudkin, who has several young cloudkin drifting around her. The young ones flee to their mother in fright, and fold themselves into her fluffy cloudy depths. She angrily lashes out at you with a bolt of lightning, which strikes your hovers and sends you tumbling to the ground. Luckily, you land in the mud, dirty and damp, but still alive. I have to lose some stamina.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
So maybe the initial still always stays the same, but write a bigger number like underneath. It can be like our current.
You scrape off the worst of the mud and stare across to where Nimbus used to be. Now there's nothing but air and dust, which crackles with a strange energy. Whatever brought the island down must have been incredibly powerful. Sadness gives way to a new resolve. You're going to find out what happened to Nimbus before the rest of Pangaria starts to fall from the sky. Your hovers aren't badly damaged, but they are out of charge, so you will need to find some way of charging them up in order to fly anywhere else. That means that for now, you're on foot. On the bright side, you've managed to keep hold of Halleck's coin bag. You're pretty sure that he won't mind you using it in the line of duty. So we've got 10 gold pieces. Where do they go? Oh yeah, gold. I'm zoomed in so I can't see everything. You check your waist. Your trusty short sword is still there. So we've got a short sword. You look around for a place to start your investigation. There's a cloudkin farm nearby. They might be able to help you with supplies and information. Turn to 30.
There we go. Yes, this is like, it seems to be what they've done with the more recent fighting fantasies. There's still ones coming out, I think by Ian Livingston, maybe by Steve Jackson as well. But yeah, there's a few guest authors, and this one is written by Rhianna Pratchett, who is, amongst other things in her own right, Terry Pratchett's daughter.
So you've got a little picture, an
lovely
illustration. An enormous black cloudkin floats out from behind one of the farm buildings. You head towards the farm. This is where the cloudkin are born and raised when young, before they are let out to roam the skies above Altos, the Zephyrus tempest, preventing them from drifting too far away. There they grow fat with rain and are cared for at ground level by Altos's many farmers, and in the air by canadors, winged dog-like creatures. Any island that needs rain or shade can request a herd of cloudkin, which will come to the island and deposit their rain before returning to Altos to be fattened up again. Cloudkin are usually gentle and passive, aside from protective mothers, as you just found out. But as you get nearer, the farm seems unusually quiet. There are no workers outside, or canadors in the air, and there are even a few discarded tools lying about. A chill goes down your spine. Something bad has happened here. Suddenly, there's a thunderous growl. An enormous black cloudkin floats out from behind one of the farm buildings, lightning sparking from within its swirling dark depths. This is like no cloudkin you've ever seen before. The energy from the Nimbus must have mutated it from a benign rain cloud into an angry ball of storm energy. Here, take this! You turn to see a young woman dressed in waterproof farming clothes. She throws you a cloudkin staff, a special staff used in the farming of the sentient clouds. Cloudkin staff. Is it a weapon? I'll move it if it's not a weapon. Let's subdue this storm, she shouts over the rumbling, thunderous growls of the stormkin. With this woman fighting with you for the duration of this battle, you may add 2 points when calculating your attack strength. You may increase any damage you cause by 1 point, and you may reduce any damage you suffer in battle by 1 point. Together, you can take on the stormkin.
Okay, so we've got a battle. So we get to the battle rules. So we're fighting a stormkin, skill 10, stamina 10. You'll often come across pages in the book which instruct you to fight a creature of some sort. An option to flee may be given, but if not, or if you choose to attack the creature, you must resolve the battle. First, record the creature's skill and stamina score on the first vacant monster encounters box. You don't have to stay zoomed in. On your adventure sheet, the scores for each creature are given in the book each time you have an encounter. So the stormkin's got skill 10, stamina 10. The sequence of combat is then roll both dice once for the creature, add its skill score. This is the creature's attack strength. Then roll both dice for yourself, add the number rolled to your skill score. This is your attack strength. If your attack strength is higher than that of the creature, you have wounded it. If the creature's attack strength is higher than yours, it wounded you. Well, let's do that then. So we roll both dice for the creature. So, the creature has rolled 8, and its skill of 10. That's an 18, that's going to be rough. What's our skill?
9.
So, 2 dice adding 9. 18.
So 18 v 18.
Oh, what if it's a tie then? If both are the same...
Add 2 to your skill.
Oh yeah, it said add 2 because the woman's fighting. Thanks,
okay,
Matt.
20.
So we had higher than his. We wounded the creature. Subtract 2 points from its stamina score. You may use your luck here to do additional damage. So using luck in battles. If you've just wounded the creature, you can test your luck. If you are lucky, you have inflicted a severe wound and may subtract an extra 2 points from the stamina score. But if you are unlucky, you restore a point to the creature's stamina instead. So you do 1 fewer. And you can also use luck to try and minimise wounds that you take. So testing luck is you roll 2 dice. If the number you roll is equal to or less than your current luck, you are lucky. If it's higher than your current luck score, you will be penalised. So I don't think you change... Oh, every time you fail, you lose a luck as well. So... we do an additional damage as well?
Yeah, so
additional damage
20 v 18 for the skill check.
So we have wounded it and we do an additional damage because you do 2 damage anyway, don't you? Yeah, just generally you do 2 points of damage from a hit, and then we do an extra point of damage because
so we do 3
of the Yeah, because of
So
our
do
helper,
I
and
just-
we reduce damage that we suffer.
Do I just rub this out?
Why not?
So it's on 7.
Yeah. Make appropriate adjustments to the creatures or your own stamina scores and begin the next attack round. So the monster again is doing 10 plus, that's 19 again. And so we've got 11 initial. Oh, well, that's pretty good, isn't it? 22. So we've wounded it again for 3. I think just stick with... I don't think we need to spend the luck with our helper. This is like, it's your first fight, in it? It's going a bit soft on us. So the monster hitting us. Oof. Okay, it might hit us now. 22. And then for us... Oh, that's a 1, isn't it? 6. Yeah, it's definitely hit us this time, isn't it? The creature's wounded you. Subtract 2 points from your own stamina score.
-1.
Yeah, and you can use luck to try and reduce that further if you wanted to. Yeah, so we could try and use our luck to not take any damage. Yeah, these were pre-order bonuses for... I bought this and the other... I can't remember which one it is. The other book that came out at the same time, I think it was an Ian Livingstone book. And they came with lovely little... I can't remember what they're called now. Lovely little plates that were signed and some Fighting Fantasy dice. Because it was just from, like... I think it was a thing that they were doing for independent bookshops. Right, so we've taken a bit of damage, haven't we? I think, yeah, just stick with it. It was only 1, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So another round of combat until one of us is done. 4. Okay, it might not be as now. 14. And then we roll 6 plus 12, isn't it? Plus 11. So 17, we beat it, don't we?
So that's 3 damage.
So 3 damage again. So we could test luck to try and kill it in now. I think just go again. The creature, one more time we hope. 10 plus 10 is 20. And then for us... Oh dear. 5 plus 11. It's just 16, isn't it? So the monster hits us for 1 more. Come on. This time is the last time. 16 for the monster versus... There we go, 21 for us. So we do 3 more damage, but that's way more than we needed. So combat is successful. If you win, is Altos our home island?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? Because it's the first place we've been. Turn to 353. We should make a note of that, Rach. I'll definitely forget.
With a last roar of thunder, the Stormkin disintegrates into thin air. The Cloudkin farmer is your friend Nemi, and she throws her arms around you. I was so worried about you, she cries. I heard that something terrible had happened on Nimbus, but then the Cloudkin went stormy and all hell broke loose. Most of the other workers fled, but I wasn't going to give up my farm that easily. You tell Nemi that you were investigating what happened on Nimbus as the last member of the Skywatch still in Pangaria. Says Nemi thoughtfully. You might not be the last one. I went by the watch house just before the explosion and I heard snoring coming from inside. Seems that someone else didn't make the meeting. That sounds like something you could check out. Right, well, the farm is safe for now. How about you keep the Cloudkin staff and I come with you on your travels? Well, at least on Altos. I can back you up in a fight and I want to find out what's happened to Flaps, my best Canador. Most of the Canadors scattered when the explosion happened and haven't been seen since. I'm really worried about him. Hopefully he's in hiding. He always liked the area up by the great waterfall. And here, you better take this. She passes you a healing potion. This restores up to 4 stamina when drunk. Healing potion.
Oh, so Nemi is coming with us. So make a note on our adventure sheet that still applies.
I feel like there's no space for these.
No, there's no space for just kind of notes, is there? But just make a note that she adds 2 to our attack strength. What she just did in that fight, she keeps going with that. If you choose to use the wooden Cloudkin staff in battle, you must reduce your strength by a point against opponents that aren't Cloudkin, as it is more cumbersome to use than your short sword. For now, just add it to your adventure sheet. Now you have to decide where you and Nemi will go next. Do you want to go towards the Altos Watch House or the Great Waterfall? Where do you reckon? The chat isn't loading at all on the screen, is it? The YouTube chat, at least, isn't refreshing on it. What do you reckon? What Watch House or Waterfall is our big decision?
Just check. I put -1 here.
Yeah, -1 if you're fighting something that isn't a cloudkin.
I'll remember that.
Where do you reckon, Rach?
Well, I think we go find the Canador. Go find Flaps
Find
at
Flaps.
the Great Waterfall.
Okay, then. So that's 3 to 8.
You head out towards Altos's Great Waterfall. It is a source of water so pure that many Pangarians believe it holds healing properties. Every summer they come to bathe in the azure blue pool at the foot of the waterfall in order to cure all their ills. You climb closer until you find yourself on a rocky outcropping overlooking the pool. The water looks deep and strangely dark. You feel hot and bothered. You've been working hard at your investigations. A nice cool dip in these waters could be just what you need. If you want to take a swim in the lake, turn to 291. If you want to walk along the bank to get closer to the Great Waterfall, turn to 75. Or if you want to change your mind and go back to the watch house, if you haven't been there already, go to 40.
What do you reckon? The water looks strangely dark.
Oh, it seems dodgy to me.
What would you like to do then? Ignore it. Well, we don't want to go back to the watch house, do we? So do you want to have a swim or just walk to the waterfall?
Waterfall.
Walk to the
I
waterfall.
think forget the swim. As you get nearer to the waterfall, you spy tracks in the mud. You crouch down. They look like paw prints, and fresh ones at that. You look up beyond the waterfall and see a goblin flyer moored at the top of the cliffs. You could use it to travel to more of the islands, but is your work on Altos done?
I don't
So
think
we
it
can
is.
either investigate the paw prints or go and use the goblin flyer. Well, why would you not go and get the paw prints?
Because maybe you've already been and
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
you're just coming back.
Isn't it 291?
I thought it was 299.
Oh, yeah. You start to follow the tracks along the bank. After a while, the paw prints become muddy scuffs on the rocks leading to a cave hidden behind the waterfall. Do we want to enter the cave? Or do we want to turn around and go back to the goblin flyer?
We want to go in, don't we?
Go in the cave. As you slowly creep into the cave, you hear the sound that alternates between a growling and a whining. Something large approaches from out of the shadows, eyes aglow. Nemi is with us. 55. The shadow unfolds a pair of wings. As it gets closer to you, you can see it's a Canador, or rather was a Canador. Now it's fighting the effects from the surge of elemental energy from the explosion. Its eyes glow with flashes of lightning, and sparks are crackling off its fur. "It's Flaps!" cries Nemi. Flaps snarls, revealing wickedly sharp teeth. "Good boy, easy, easy," whispers Nemi soothingly. "It's me." Flaps whimpers a little. The elemental energy hasn't completely corrupted him, but it can't be long before it does. You have to find a way to help him, Nemi pleads with you. If you have a calming potion and want to use it on Flaps, turn to 25. Or we can go back to the goblin flyer. Well, I mean, we haven't got a calming potion, so we're going to have to leave him there.
Yeah. So we're going to the goblin flyer then.
Unfortunate. The goblin flyer bobs up and down on the breeze as you approach. However, its pilot sits nearby, holding his head in his hands and moaning gently. You recognise the pilot as the goblin named Critch and ask him what's the matter. "Oh, bit of rubber lit me upside the head," says Critch. "I ain't flying nowhere until I get a bit of healing, but if you're looking to charge your hovers, then the machine is over there. If you want to give him a cabbage leaf or some healing honey, if you have either, turn to 20. If you want to charge your hovers for 1 gold piece, turn to 96. If you don't have any gold pieces, you can continue no further.
Oh, wow.
Wowzer.
So I guess we need to charge our hovers.
Right, so we spend a gold. Good job we got some gold. You put 1 gold piece in the slot of the little machine and place your hover's storm crystal inside the charging chamber. There is a loud whirring noise and the little storm crystal begins to glow brightly. The tiny tempest inside starts to whirl again. You are now ready to take off and visit Cirrus or Cumulus. If you want to fly to Cirrus, the farming island, turn to 220. If you want to fly to Cumulus, the island of trade, go to 140. Right, where are we going to find a calming potion? Probably
Trade, probably.
the trade.
Yeah.
Although we could get some cabbage from the farming island, probably, for Critch. I'll say we get the calming potion first.
Okay.
That's if it is there. You decide to visit Cumulus, the island of trade. You check the hovers, make a running jump and take off, the waters of Altos sparkling beneath you. So, if you had an enemy with you, she'll stay on Cumulus and you'll lose your attack and damage bonus.
You don't see Cumulus at first, you smell it. The scents drift up to you from the numerous stalls and vendors who trade their wares in the large markets that dominate the island. The soft, spicy smells of gingerbread biscuits and cinnamon milk pudding mingle with the pungent aroma of stink fruit and sizzling fish steaks. A humming jolts you from your musings, and the wings begin to shudder. You tense your shoulders and move your upper body as you try to glide yourself down towards a safe and soft landing before the hover's storm crystal runs out of energy. Test your skill. So is this just like rolling below our skill? It's a PDF that's got the rules on loads really slowly. This is fighting multiple creatures. How do we test our skill? Is it the same as testing our luck? Roll and you want to have less than your current value? Is there like an extra how to play bit in the back of this? Oh yeah, there's a more about your attributes bit that isn't on this. Where? This is how to restore.
Your skill will not change. Your skill will not change much during your adventure. Occasionally a paragraph.
Yeah, that's just how to restore things though. This bit isn't in there.
No.
Testing your skill and stamina. Hey Joel, how's it going? Happy Christmas. So the procedure is as follows. Roll 2 dice. If it's equal to or less than your current... Yeah, it's the same as testing your luck. So you want it to be equal to or less than your skill. You do not lose skill, though, if you fail. So what were we doing? Oh, here. So test your skill. And our skill is 9.
Mm-hmm.
So we want equal to or less than 9. We got 7. So that's okay. If you are successful, turn to 12.
You aim for a soft-looking haystack, and just as the wings of your hovers are starting to fold up, you drop safely into the soft, warm hay. A grazing mule gently nuzzles you to your feet. 88.
Oh, there's a blizzard. Oh, no. Our freezing cold bit seems to have
Yeah, we just got
finished
rain.
for now.
Just rain now.
Yeah, it's just all rainy.
The usual bustling sounds of the market are more muted today. You don't see as many stalls open, and the crowds are decidedly sparser than usual. The explosion on Nimbus has driven many indoors, but the stall holders are hardier and won't run and hide if there's even one person to make money from. You need to get some tips on what's been happening around here from the local stall holders, but they won't give up the gossip unless you buy something from them. You browse a nearby stall. You can buy some bread for 1 gold piece, which will restore 2 stamina points, or an apple pie for 2 gold, which will restore 3, or a healing potion for 2 gold pieces. Choose what you want to buy and turn to 227.
What do you think? We've already got a healing potion, haven't we?
I say an apple pie.
Yeah. Apple pie then for 2 gold.
Apple pie. see what happens first. Apple pie 2. You select the item you want to buy. Right, so that's 7. As you hand over the coins, you tell the goblin trader that you are looking into what's happened on Nimbus and ask if he knows anything. Well, business has been a bit slow since the explosion, he explains. Everyone's a little nervous about all the extra elemental energy flying around here, but I ain't budging. You ask him if he thinks there's anyone you should speak with. The goblin sucks his teeth thoughtfully. Well, there's a goblin called Hazzy who lives on the far side of the market. He used to work at the Citadel on Nimbus. He might know something. Anyone else? You could always go and see Methodus. He's a Stormborn who works over at the mill. He might know a thing or two about the elemental energy that got released. Now you've got a couple of avenues to explore. But before you set off again, you can purchase the other items if you wish. Be careful out there, adds the goblin trader. There's rumours that the explosion has stirred up some unpleasant beasts. Wouldn't want to lose a good customer like yourself. Before you head off, you notice a goblin gambling stall. This could be the chance to increase your gold. Or lose it all. If you want to engage in a game of chance in the hope of increasing your gold, turn to 304. If you want to find Hazzy's house on the far side of the market, turn to 351. Or if you want to head over to see Methodus at the mill, turn to 261. Should we just straight up heal from that apple pie?
I think hang on to it.
Okay.
What if
That's plus 3, isn't
I don't know if it will do that with healing items, but what if it says, oh, if you had an apple pie, you could do this thing? So what should we do? We can go gambling. We can go to Hazzy's house, or we can go and see someone at the mill.
I don't know why you're asking me, because I know what you want to do.
What?
Gamble.
Gamble, okay.
You approach one of the gambling stalls. Win or lose it all on the roll of a dice, shouts the goblin running the stall. Roll a 5 or 6 to win. Double your money. What are you willing to bet, officer? You can bet 1, 2 or 3 gold pieces, then roll 1 die. If you roll a 5 or a 6, you win and double the amount of gold pieces you bet. If you roll 1 to 4, lose your stake.
What do you think?
I'm letting you do this. This is your choice.
3.
I knew you were going to say 3. Right, so we lose 3.
Come on, you can roll.
And it's all my fault.
Come on, Rach.
Not counting that. I don't even look at it. I dropped it.
Well, unfortunately, it was a 6. Rach did roll a 6.
I didn't look at it.
So Rach has lost us that, unfortunately. 2, 4, 7.
Not my choice.
See, I bet 3, thinking that you'd win.
Yeah,
Rach.
but this is what you do. You make me roll, and it's all my fault.
You've got to use that special technique that lets you roll any number.
Not your day, is it, officer? Says the goblin, pocketing your gold. Want to try again? You decide that it's not worth the risk of losing more. That's a fit, because Tom would 100% do it again.
Yeah, you'd win next time.
What are you doing?
Go to Hazzy's house.
Is that where we're going?
We've browsed the nearby store.
Well, we can go to the mill as well if we want to. And go see
well, don't we want to get a companion first?
Okay, go to Hazzy's house. Fine.
Uh-oh.
You continue through the main market. A few market goers nervously ask you what's going on and if they are safe. You tell them that you're investigating matters and that they should carefully continue their business as normal until they receive further information. Privately, you have no idea what that information is going to be, or if anyone is safe, but there's no sense in creating more panic. You're walking along, taking in the sights, sounds and smells of at the market, when you feel a light tugging at your belt. You turn to see a creature that looks like a cockroach the size of a dog skittering off with your coin bag in its mouth. If your coin bag has some money in it, turn to 355. Remove all the gold pieces.
Uh-oh.
And Dav is not with us. You can't let your coin bag be taken by this thieving beast. You give chase. The cockroach dashes down an alleyway. You follow and come to a dead end. You look around to see where it could have scurried off to and see a broken storm drain grate, which you might be able to squeeze through, and some steps leading up to the rooftops of some small ramshackle houses. Do we want to try the storm drain, or do we want to head for the rooftops?
What do you think, Rach?
Well, I mean, it's a cockroach. It's obviously gone in the storm drain.
Storm drain?
You squeeze your way into the storm drain and drop down into the sewer. The smells down here are horrible compared to those in the market above and make your eyes water. The stench starts to make you feel nauseous. Uh-oh.
You study the ground and see small tracks in what you hope is only mud. Do you want to follow the tracks or go back to the street?
Follow tracks? We've got to get this full money back. Holding your nose, you continue into the sewers, following the creature's tracks. Turning a corner, you see the giant insect just about to climb up a small pipe with your coin bag in its mandibles. You whip out your short sword and hurl it at the retreating bug. Test your skill.
Test your skill. On Rach. Yeah, we've done it. That's right.
Good job, I rolled so low. Success.
383.
That fantastic little overarm throw. Your short sword skewers the creature perfectly. It screeches, shakes and goes limp. You retrieve your coin bag and the weapon, cleaning it thoroughly. A glittering from inside the pipe draws your eye. Reaching inside, you find 2 gold pieces. Add these to your event sheet, along with the original number of gold pieces you had when you stole your coin bag. 6 gold we've got now.
Nice.
We had 4 before. Boom. You continue your journey across the market, this time being more wary about who or what might be following you. You've not been travelling for long when a young goblin comes running up to you with an anxious look on his face. I heard you were looking for me, he pants, struggling to catch his breath. This is definitely no Stormborn, so it must be Hazy. Do you have any news about him? Did he send you? Confused, you ask who he's referring to. Vizig, the elder Technomancer, of course. You mean he hasn't sent word? You shake your head and explain that you're investigating what happened on Nimbus and were told you should speak to him. Hazy sinks down onto a crate, looking miserable. I used to be an apprentice of his before he retired. He always comes here to have breakfast, but today he missed it. With no explanation. If you're heading to Asperitas, do you think you could check his house? I don't have enough coin for the flyer ride. You assure him that you will. Thank you, officer, says Hazy, looking a little more relieved. You ask him whether he has any idea what might have happened on Nimbus. I've not worked there for a few years, but I still can't understand what could have caused the crash. Nimbus, like all our islands, is held up by large storm crystals. Unlike the crystals in your hovers, the island crystals are strong enough to hold their energy perpetually. If the crystals failed, then something caused that to happen. I fear it was no accident. Add the code word Hazy to your adventure sheet.
We don't have a storm crystal shard. You reassure Hazy that you will check in on Vizig on Asperitas, and the goblin thanks you. He reaches into his robe and passes you a couple of items. A piece of dried cuttlefish, which will restore 2 stamina, and an ornate dagger, which will add 1 point to your attack strength if used in battle.
The weapon section is not big enough.
Ornate dagger, +1 attack strength. You notice a sign pointing the way to the local goblin flyer. If you want to go to the mill, and we haven't been to the mill, have we?
No.
So we might as well go to there before we try and move on. See what's happening there. You make your way around the edge of the market, heading towards the mill. The ground begins to rumble beneath your feet. Market goers start sprinting for cover, and before you can ask what the fuss is about, the only shopkeeper left nearby shouts, "Run!" before quickly pulling down the wooden shutter on his shop with a loud clonk. If Dav's not with us, is he?
No, I bet that's who you get if this is your home island.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. Because we haven't had an opportunity to have a companion, have we?
What number?
You can 311.
You can see the earth bucking and cracking as something burrows through the soil towards you, sending market stalls flying. With hands shaking, you select your best weapon as a huge, worm-like creature erupts from the ground. It seems to have no eyes, but it makes up for that with the number of glistening fangs it has in its huge, gaping mouth, which is heading straight for you.
So the Tunneler Beast, right here, has skill 8, stamina 9. So we might as well use our ornate dagger, haven't we? 'Cause it's got +1 attack strength.
+1 strength.
So it attacks us first and rolls 6 + 8, so 14 on its attack. And we roll 11. Oh yeah, definitely beat it. Plus the 1 from the staff, plus the 9, 21.
Well, is +1 strength the damage we do?
No,
Okay, so we just do 1 damage.
I don't think so. Yes.
I don't know. Just how would you ever do more than 1 damage then if you're on your own?
No, attack strength is your
Okay.
initial roll.
That's fine. Oh, 2 damage base.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we were doing 3 when we had the
Oh,
companion.
yeah, that's my bad.
And you can test luck to do an extra
Oh, yeah, of course you can.
damage if you wanted to. So another attack, the monster. Oh, double 1. So hopefully
Fail.
we can beat it. So the monster has 10 skill there, and we have rolled 5, 14. So we beat it. Another 2 damage. The monster, 5 + 8. We'll give it 13. And us, 6. Please stay in focus.
What is it doing?
It's trying to, like, it can't really get a hook on what it's meant to be focusing on, can it? Like, if you put that there, it would be... It's thinking, like, I don't really... That's what, I guess because they're the same colour as the table as well.
That's, yeah.
It doesn't know if they're things for it to be focusing on.
So will we eat it?
I think it's got 1 health, hasn't it? Because it had 7.
Yeah, so we done
You
2 more
subtracted it
damage.
once.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
then
did 2
12.
damage.
It
Yeah.
started with 9 health. This is the 3rd attack.
Oh, so it's still got 3 health.
Yeah, I was checking that we hit it that time.
Oh. So yeah, another one. Monster attacking. It attacks for 6 + 8, 14. And then our attack is 5, 6, 15. It's the same, isn't it? So we miss each other. Monster attacks for 8. So that's 16. We attack for 10, 20. So we do 2 more damage. We could test our luck.
I mean, shall we just for the
Yeah,
chance
just
of
to do it.
testing our luck?
7 is lower than our luck, so we succeed and do an extra damage, which is going to finish off the monster. And we didn't even take any damage that time, did we?
Nope.
2, 8, 9.
With an enormous shudder, the creature crashes to the ground. Slowly, the market goers return and start poking at the huge corpse. Nice work, officer. Oh, do you think it's going to be roasted? Stewed, maybe? Worth a try. The stallholder cautiously raises his shutter. Well, I never. You got it. Here, take some dried stink fruit and silk cloth on the house. So we've got a silk cloth. Oh, there's not enough space on here. Silk.
So we've got silk cloth and 2 dried stink fruit. They will restore up to 2 stamina points each when consumed.
So 2.
Dried stink fruit, 2 stamina points each. I mean, we can use some of this stuff, but we aren't really in danger, are we? Currently.
So that's +2.
You keep on heading for the mill.
The mill is quiet when you reach it. Perhaps the workers were sent home after the explosion. You look up at the windmill. There's no breeze, so the sails are still. There's a loud whooshing sound and what looks like a mini cyclone emerges from the structure. Before you know it, you're flung onto the ground and find yourself being pulled across the ground towards a swirling mass.
Shall we use
-2.
the healing potion?
So instead of losing 2, we will gain 2. That's +4.
To 104. The whirling mass lifts you into the air, higher and higher. Even if you had charge left in your hovers, they wouldn't help you in the midst of this chaotic wind. You struggle and flail against the invisible force. Then suddenly you're falling. You expect to feel the crush of the cold, hard ground, but instead you're caught in midair by ethereal arms. The figure floats to the ground and places you down safely. "I'm sorry about that," says the figure. "I had no idea anyone was out here, and the storms can be quite temperamental, especially at the moment." You're being addressed by a Stormborn, one of the intelligent wind spirits that create and harvest crystals within the storms that rage across the Sea of Tempests. The figure, who you rightly assume to be Methydus, waves his hands through the air like he's conducting an invisible orchestra, and the cyclone slows its whirling and glides towards the windmill. It spreads out over the sails and they creak into life. "How may I help you, officer?" You tell Methydus that you are looking into what happened at the Nimbus. "We Stormborn were very concerned by what happened," he says sadly. "All of us who live and work in Pangaria felt it in every fibre of our beings. This means the amount of elemental energy released must have been immense. Many storm crystals must have been broken. Of course, we tried to reach the Nimbus, but although we can pass safely through the storms that surround it, there is a warding spell around the island, preventing Stormborn from entering. Someone clearly doesn't want us interfering. Write the code word BUBBLE on your adventure sheet."
These are provisions.
Yeah.
Any things that heal you?
Okay. We haven't got a storm crystal shard, have we, from Cirrus?
Nope.
We do not have that.
Dried crystal.
Before you go, Methydus passes you a small crystal. It looks like a blank version of the one you have in your hovers. "You might need this. You seem like the type that gets themselves into trouble. There are a lot of nasty energies around, and this will withdraw them from an infected creature, just as long as it's not too far gone. Once an animal's been taken over entirely, the crystal won't work. One use only, I'm afraid. Add Methydus' shard to your adventure sheet and 1 point to your luck score. If you want to look for Hazi on the other side of the market and haven't done so already," we have done that, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that just an item?
Yeah, Methydus' shard. So we need to go to one of the other islands.
And then add one to the luck score.
Yeah, but we can't go beyond our initial luck.
Oh,
We can't.
wow,
I'm sure it said you can't go beyond any of your initial stats.
That's why would you have to write it down?
Yeah, your totals may never exceed your initial scores, except on very rare occasions when instructed on a particular page. What do you mean?
Maybe it'll tell you. You can go over your base, your initial.
Yeah, it may never exceed its initial value unless you are specifically instructed otherwise. Unlike other fighting fantasy game books, you do not start with any provisions in this adventure. So you follow the signs towards where you would expect to find Cumulus' goblin flyer, but as you near the dock, you can see no sign of it. At first, you think it must be traversing one of its routes, but then you hear a plaintive, "Help, help, anyone? Anyone?" You peer over the edge of the dock and see the goblin pilot hanging off the edge of some rocks below. The goblin looks very relieved to see you. "Could you possibly give me a hand here?" You pull the goblin to safety and she introduces herself as Daxa. "That Nimbus explosion completely took out my flyer," she explains. "Blew it right down into the ocean. Luckily I managed to jump out when I did, or I'd probably be in some great white squawk's belly by now." You explain that you were hoping to visit the other islands. "Well, until I get another flyer, you won't be able to get to Incus or Esperitas," Daxa says sadly. "But I'll charge your hovers for free, and that will get you to Cirrus or Altos. You can take the flyers from there." She points to a long bridge nearby, half shrouded in clouds. "Normally you could take the sky bridge to Cirrus, but it's been closed due to some unnatural disturbances around the bridge at this end," Daxa explains. "Of course, if you can deal with that, I'd be happy to reopen it, especially as my best aeronaut's helmet got thrown there during the crash. If you can make the bridge safe again, the helmet is yours. If you want Daxa to charge your flyers for free and fly to Altos or Cirrus, or do you want to investigate the sky bridge to Cirrus and see if you can find the aeronaut's helmet? What would you like to do, Rach?
Should we investigate the bridge?
Yeah. It's probably going to be something nasty here.
You pluck up the courage and decide to try the sky bridge. You step onto the bridge. It sways gently beneath you. Somehow it feels less safe than wearing the hovers. You take a deep breath and, putting one foot in front of the other, begin to cross. You notice that, although you can see the end of the bridge on Cirrus, part of the bridge near Cumulus is shrouded in cloud. As you approach, you can hear a hissing sound coming from within. Something long and scaly scythes in and out of the mist. Will you continue into the mist? Are we equipped for this? What do you think?
I think so. We've got tons of healing items.
Let's just do it. On! Once more onto the bridge. Onto the bridge. You decide to confront whatever lurks in the mist. As you get closer, the mist begins to undulate as the hissing creature comes closer. It rises out of the fog, lightning rolling off its long, scaly body. It's a lightning serpent, a rare and extremely dangerous beast. And now you're going to have to deal with it.
Okay, so if it hits us, we roll a die. On a 4 to 6, it does double damage. If you hit it using a metal weapon, roll a die, and if you roll a 5 or a 6, you suffer 2 damage as well because you're electrocuted. So we've only got a sword and a dagger, haven't we? We've got a staff, but we'd get a -1 to our strength. So what do you want to do? Will it? So we get +1 from the dagger, but we've got a 1 in 3 chance of taking 2 damage as well. Or we'd use the staff, which is -1 strength, and be safe from that.
I suppose our skill is the same right now as theirs. If we had -1, it's not a massive disadvantage, is it?
Can we change what we're attacking with?
I would assume so. We choose, don't we, when we...
Yeah, it doesn't really say. I suppose you could decide, couldn't you? So we're attacking with the staff.
What do you think?
I don't know. Attack with the dagger. It hits us for 21. Doesn't really matter, does it? We hit it for not 21. So it does 2 damage to us. Do you want to test?
Hit, so we have to do that thing, don't we?
Do you want to test the luck to reduce it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's double damage. So doubling 1 would be better than doubling 2, wouldn't it? So testing the luck, we succeed. So it does 2 damage to us. 1 doubled. Not sure at what point we reduced the damage.
2 damage.
I'm assuming before. Yep. So attacking again. It hits us for 15. Actually, if I leave the book there, it should stay focused on the book. And we hit it for more. So we do 2 damage to it, but we've got to roll and see if we get electrocuted from using this dagger. No, we don't. New round of combat, we're still using the dagger.
Yeah.
It hits us for 19, and we hit it for much less than 19.
14.
So, does it do double damage? No. Do we want to try and reduce it still? Or why don't we just eat one of the dried fruit?
Eat a dried... Can we do that in the middle of a battle?
I don't know. I think so. I think you can just use them any time. So, new round of combat. It hits us for 16. And we hit it for loads more than that. So we do 2 damage to it. And we don't get electrocuted. So it's got 5 left. Should we test our luck to try and do another one?
Yeah.
We succeed. So we do an extra damage to it. It's got 4 health left. New round of combat. It hits us for 4. And we hit it for more. Like, without modifiers, like we've got the same modifier, haven't we? We're even an extra +1. So if we beat his roll, we're fine. So we hit it for 2 damage. Do we get electrocuted? No. We're pretty lucky with that. And maybe the final round of combat here. Oh, maybe not. 19 is the monster's number. And our dagger gets us 18, unfortunately. So does it double its damage? Yes. So shall we try luck to reduce that damage? We succeed. So 2 more damage still. And the luck's staying pretty intact. 1 more round of combat. 7 + 9, 16 for the monster. And ours is 4, 5, 14. So we get hit again. Does it double damage? No. So it's doing 2 damage. Shall we still see if we can reduce it?
Yeah.
We roll 7, which is still under our luck, so it gets reduced to 1 damage. And we don't lose any luck. Another round of combat. It rolls 7 + 9, 16. And we roll 7 + 9.
16.
But plus the dagger. We are killing it. But are we taking some electrocution damage? Yes.
How much damage is
2. So should we eat the other thing? Eat the other fruit or something?
Yeah.
So we've killed it, but we've taken some hits and eaten a lot of healing things to do it, and we're still at less than half stamina. So 95.
As you dispense the killing blow, the lightning serpent sinks back into the mist, which melts away, leaving the bridge swaying in the bright sunshine. At your feet you see Dax's aeronaut's helmet. You pick it up and put it on, grateful that goblins have surprisingly large heads for their size. You feel better protected and you notice that there's a crystal visor built into the helmet. You flip the visor down and your vision becomes much sharper. You realise it must be magically enhanced. Wearing the aeronaut's helmet will permanently add 1 point to your skill score, even if this takes it beyond its initial level. Wowzer. Also, if you suffer a hit from a weapon in battle, roll a die, and on a roll of 5 or 6, you may reduce the damage done by 1 stamina. Right, okay, so let's write this on. So, where... It's an item.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's an aeronaut's
Helmet.
and we get +1 skill
Yep.
forever.
It's alright, 10.
Instead of this.
The initial skill doesn't change.
And
It just told us we're allowed to go past it.
And what can we do?
If we get hit, roll a die, and on a 5 or 6, reduce the damage by 1.
So I'm just going to put here 5 or 6. And hopefully we'll remember if we get hit. See if we roll a 5 or a 6.
Okay. 2, 3, 2.
With the bridge now open, you step onto the pleasant Isle of Cirrus, which produces much of the magically enhanced fruit, vegetables, and grains that feed Pangaria. You're nervous about what the magical energy released by Nimbus may have done to the vegetation. You look around and spot a plume of blue-green smoke in the distance. You also realise that the local watch house is not too far away. That might be worth visiting for supplies. Do we investigate the plume of blue-green smoke or the local watch house?
What do you think, Rach?
Do we go to the watch house first?
Okay. Uh-oh.
You head for the watch house. There must be something you can scavenge there. You're passing by a field of gently waving corn when you become aware of a growing chittering sound. The sound gets louder and louder as more creatures join in. The stalks begin to ripple as something surges towards you and erupts out of the corn. It's a horde of corn rats. These usually peaceful pests have been aggravated by the surge of energy from the explosion on Nimbus and have ditched their regular vegetarian diet for something a little meatier. You.
So the rabid rat horde has got skill 6 and stamina 10, and we need to fight them. Chat hasn't updated for about 45 minutes on the screen. You're playing Destiny Quest, Choose Your Own Adventure. I haven't seen those. I haven't tried. What's Tea Traders in Wales? Is it a game? Not heard of that either. So we're fighting some rats. They are fighting at 11 plus 6, so 17. And we have our dagger. So 11 plus 6, 17. So it's a draw. The rats again. 7 plus 6, 13. And, oh, so there we go. Beaten by miles. So 2 damage there. I don't think there's any need to waste the luck. To risk the luck on these.
Nah.
The rats have 7 plus 6, 13. And we've got 19, 20. So beat them. The rats have got 9 plus 6, 15. And we've got 14. So the rats are going to hit us.
So we take a hit, but we have to roll a dice.
It's a 5, so we reduce it by 1. Shall we try our luck as well to not take any damage?
Do it.
And, oh dear, it's higher than our luck, so we still take the damage. Actually, do they heal? No, because we didn't hit them. We're not trying to do an extra damage.
No, we just lost a luck.
We lose an extra health, and we lose a luck.
Oh, so we lose 2 health still.
Yeah,
Ooh.
maybe it wasn't worth doing. The rats hit us for 15. And we hit them for 21. So another 2 damage to them. It's actually a tea shop, not a game. No, haven't really been to Wales much. Since I was young, at least. And then it was only really real Llandudno in there. Pitheli. 9.
15.
Oh yeah, this is the rats in it. And we beat them.
Oh,
Another 2.
One more time.
Come on, the rats hit us for 13. And we hit them for 16. Boom. So that's this, isn't it? Turn to 109. Oh, not quite.
The rabid corn rats lay slain at your feet. You notice 2 ears of ripe corn have fallen to the ground during the battle. Add 2 ears of corn to the provisions box. And like that specifically says provisions box. Add 2 ears of corn. Each one will store 3 stamina.
Oh, should we eat one?
So 10, and then we've got 1 ear of corn. Which will do 3.
When you reach the watch house, you notice that some grapevines from the local vineyard seem to be growing closer to the building than you remember. You hurry inside. The emptiness within reminds you of the lot of your friends and fellow recruits in the Skywatch. You fervently hope that they still might be alive. You head for the barracks hoping that some of the recruits' chests might be open so you can search them for any useful supplies. This is not our home island.
Checking all the chests, you discover that one of them is unlocked. Do we want to search it? Well, of course we want to search the unlocked chest. Of course we want to steal what's in the unlocked chest.
Uh-oh.
You wonder briefly why the chest has been left unopened, but when you lift the lid, you get your answer. The chest bites down on your hand. Uh-oh. Lose 2 stamina points.
I think we get the apple pie and the corn eaten.
So that's 8. And 1 skill point. Oh. So now we're...
If you have a calming
9.
potion and want to use it now, we haven't. So we've got to fight the chest creature. Skill 5, stamina 6. I'd get both of those, like, maybe all the provisions eaten. Heal us back up. Hey Marco, how's it going? Merry Christmas. Thanks for popping in.
What do you want
We're
us to
fighting
do?
a living
Eat all the
chest.
stuff?
Yeah, we've only got 8 health, haven't we?
So what? Eat apple pie and eat the 3, 6, 7, 8. Do you want to eat everything?
Yeah, why not?
Eat everything. 3, 6. So if we eat everything, we're on 16 health.
Mm-hmm. So, skill 5, stamina 6. So the chest attacks us for 11. And we hit the chest for 22. So 2 damage on that chest to start with. The chest chomps down and does 11. And we stab the chest for 20. So another 2 damage. This might be a nice and easy fight for us. It attacks us for 13. And we hit back for 17. Boom. 130.
The spell leaves the chest and the lid sinks down, lifeless once more. Inside you find a flask of fire oil and a piece of paper. You unfold the paper carefully. It looks like a page torn out of a ledger from one of the fishery docks in Incus. A few names are marked on the page, but one name, Commander Matthias Talaman, has been circled several times. Scrawled next to it are the words, "Where is he?" It's like Matthias or Matthias, I don't know. You can add the Incus ledger page and the fire oil to the equipment list on your adventure sheet. Right, so tell me what they can do. So Incus ledger.
So it can be used once to light a fire, or it can be used against an opponent at the start of battle to automatically cause 3 damage.
So could do +3 damage.
The last fight really took it out of you, and you realise you've been held up by a mixture of fear, adrenaline, and anger up to this point. Now you could do with a little old-fashioned shut-eye. Do you want to take a nap, or carry on?
I mean, if nap's going to heal us, I don't really need to do that. I don't know. You decide.
It could put us up to 20, couldn't it?
Okay.
But 1, 8, 4. Hey, Scott. No, it's not. It's not like Discworld necessarily. It is written by Terry Pratchett's daughter, and there's like, it's like a, not silly, a whimsical kind of world. There's flying dog creatures. There's like storm spirits and stuff.
There's clouds instead of sheep.
Yeah, there's giant cockroaches stealing gold bags and stuff. But no, I don't think it's. There's no relation to Discworld, like in terms of like the writing and stuff. Although Discworld Choose Your Adventure would be great. I never played there's like point and click adventures for Discworld that were always meant to be great. Discworld Noir, I think, is supposed to be the really good one. Never played them yet.
You sleep for a fitful hour or so. In your dreams, you are flying through the skies above Pangaria, trying to catch your falling Skywatch friends. They cry out to you as they tumble through the air. You save one, but more plummet away from your grasp. You grab for a flailing arm, only to realise that it's your own face that you see staring back at you. You try to hold on, gripping tighter, but it's no good. You watch as your screaming face falls away from you, your limbs flailing uselessly as your doppelganger drops away into nothingness. The sleep isn't peaceful, but at least it is at least restful.
You awake to the strange buzzing sound on the edge of your hearing, like the rapid flapping of tiny wings. You peer into the gloom, and in the corner of the barracks you see something that looks like a metal eye. It's about the size of a grapefruit, and instead of an iris, you notice that the metal contraption has a large lens. It is held up by small wings reminiscent of your hovers. The metal eye zips around, blinking at you. It's very unnerving. You throw your boot at it. If you roll a 5, or I rolled the die while Rach was talking, it was 5. 2, 4, 9. Yeah, like humour, but like not necessarily out and out silliness or parody or anything like that.
Your boot is well aimed and strikes the flying eye. Something metal falls off the side of it. The thing emits a high-pitched noise before flying away up the chimney. You examine what dropped off the contraption. It's a strange metal object.
You're unharmed, but can't shake the feeling that you're being watched. There's no time to dwell on such things right now. There's nothing more to do here, so you leave the watch house. So the other things that Rhianna Pratchett's done, it's I think mainly been video game writing, and they've been a mixture of like the rebooted Tomb Raider series. I don't know if she's written all of them. Definitely some of the rebooted Tomb Raider games, if not all of them. Like they're more serious stories, aren't they? And she's done more as well. But she wrote the Overlord games. They were really funny.
You head for the watch house door. You're just about to step through when whoosh, 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 vine tendrils shoot across in front of you, blocking your exit. A bunch of grapes explodes, showering you with an acidic goo. Lose 2 stamina. The rest of the vines start to creep across the ground towards you. If you want to use a calming potion... Where is this calming potion? I really want it. So we're going to have to fight the vines if you want to get out of here alive. We're fighting the grapes of wrath.
Skill 7, stamina 8.
We have just lost 2 stamina. What was that, sorry? Stamina 8.
Skill 7.
Oops, I'm writing in the rubber.
So the grapes hit us for 10. And we lost a skill.
When we fought the treasure chest.
Yeah.
Did we get it back?
We never lost a skill, did we?
Yeah, it said -1 skill point.
Did it?
Yep.
Oh, what for?
For putting our hand in the treasure chest.
Oh, right.
We took 2 damage and lost a skill point.
Oh, right. Rough. So 7.
I mean, I don't know if you get it back.
I doubt it unless it tells you do. So that's 16, 17. We beat it, don't we? The grapes hit us for 10 plus their skill of 7, 17. And we hit back for... We're fighting with a dagger that gives us +1 hit, by the way. We hit back for 20, which is another 2 damage. We can test luck to do more damage, but it's doing us all right at the moment. We haven't been hit yet, have we? They hit us for 14, and we hit back for 18, so another 2 damage. And perhaps finally, they hit us for 14, and we hit back for 17. Boom. Straight, just like the chest, another straight win. Well, I missed that we lost a skill point. That's harsh. Well, I suppose it was a bonus one we had.
Definitely what it said.
I believe you.
You fight your way through the angry vines until they retreat away from the door, giving you enough time to escape. You notice a bunch of unexploded grapes lying on the floor. You prod them very gently with your sword, but they seem more stable when not connected to the vine. It will take more force to activate their corrosive properties. Thinking they might come in useful, you carefully put them in a small leather pouch and take them with you.
You leave the watch house and are just wondering if you should go north of Cirrus and locate a goblin flyer to take you onwards to the other islands when you hear an indistinct yelling in the distance. Do you want to follow the sound of the yelling or investigate the plume of blue-green smoke? We could leave the island, but there's things to do here. What do you think, Rach? Yelling or blue-green smoke?
Ugh, smoke. Smoke. I want to find some cabbage. Go to the smoke.
Smoke?
Yeah. You make your way across Cirrus towards a blue-green plume of smoke. Worried farmers approach you asking about what happened on Nimbus. All you can tell them is to keep calm, stay indoors, and that the Sky Watch is looking into it. You manage to sound more convincing than you feel. When you reach the edge of the field that is the source of the smoke plume, you realise that it's not smoke at all, but a swirling blue-green mist, which is coming from a large storm crystal shard that is half embedded in the middle of a cabbage field, close to a small shed. It looks like a much bigger version of the one in the hovers nestled on your back. Although it's very cracked and clearly badly damaged, it must have landed here after the explosion on the Nimbus. If you want to charge up your hover's storm crystal, and Silas is with you, he's not with us. If we want to charge up the hover's storm crystal, we'll have to go to 2-on-1, or if we want to investigate the shed. Do we need to charge the crystal? I mean, we did use it to fly. Do we need to charge it?
I don't know. Maybe we should investigate the shed.
Yeah.
It seems I don't know. Like you don't know which options aren't going to come back to you. So I thought that screaming, is it like a temporary thing we need to do now?
Well, I don't know. Well, you didn't say that when you were making the choice. On the way to the shed, you pass by an empty wooden frame. A crow perches on it, preening itself. It caws angrily and takes flight when a large cabbage is hurled at it. A straw-filled figure lumbers out from behind the shed. It's the frame's original occupant, an enraged scarecrow. It plucks a couple of heavy-looking cabbages and aims them at your head. Fight the scarecrow.
Skill 6, stamina 5.
What is this scarecrow doing being alive? That's what I want to know.
Okay.
Give us your cabbages.
So Scarecrow hits us for 10 plus 6, 16. And we hit back for 17. So we hit it for 2. The Scarecrow hits us for 14. And we hit back for 19. I think, yeah, let's not even risk the luck. Hits us for 13, and we hit back for 12.
So it hits us.
So we roll our helmet. No, we don't reduce the damage. I don't... Should we try the luck? We've taken extra damage, though, won't we?
Yeah, I think save it for now.
The Scarecrow hits us with strength of 13, and we hit back for 19. So we've done the last damage there. I'll move the book too far off the camera to keep the focus going.
This went really blurry all of a sudden.
271.
(271). The Scarecrow explodes into a ball of straw and cabbages. You breathe a sigh of relief. You've heard that cabbage leaves can be soothing, so you take 2 with you just in case. So we've got 2 cabbage leaves. Now you can reach the little shed. You find a small hand axe and a calming potion inside.
So record those in.
So 2 cabbage leaves.
So we've been to the watch house, we're going to have to go to the flyer. So yeah, I think the screaming was a temporary thing.
Oh.
Record these. So the hand axe and the calming potion.
What's the cabbage leaves? 2 health.
Yeah.
So 2 health.
But we know there is a use for the cabbage leaves, don't we?
Hand axe.
Mm-hmm. It didn't say the damage that... Well, I don't know. Just as hand axe.
I mean, I think it's a weapon. And
You
then
reach the north...
Calming potion.
Yeah.
I'm running out of space here.
You reach the north end of Cirrus and look for the Goblin Flyer, which normally takes the inhabitants onto the other islands. You eventually find the flyer, but its balloon is deflated, and its Goblin pilot is rummaging angrily in his tool bag whilst muttering to himself. You approach carefully.
The name... Which one are we on? Would you look at that? He grumbles, gesturing to his damaged balloon when he sees you approach. I was just having a spot of lunch and minding my own business when I hears a huge bang and a great rock hits the old girl and gives her a gaping big hole in her side, and I drop my best pie over the edge of the island. He sadly strokes the deflated balloon. There, old girl, he murmurs gently. Soon as Grax finds you a patch and some glue, we'll get you up and floating about again. You ask if you can be of any help. Thank you, officer, says Grax, looking a little more cheerful. If you happen upon something I can fashion into a patch, that would help. Or, if you've got some coin, you can charge up the crystal in those hovers of yours. They won't take you to the furthest islands, but they should get you to Altos or Cumulus. Usually you'd be able to use the sky bridge to Cumulus, but it's been closed due to some unusual energies on the Cumulus side. So your hovers or my flyer are your best bet for now. We sorted out the bridge, mate. But we do have a silk cloth.
Shall we go to that then?
So let's use a silk cloth. So you hand over the silk cloth. Gorak studies it, trying to gauge whether it might help him fix his beloved flyer. Yes, I think that should do the trick. Now all I need is something to glue it down with. You got anything? Oh.
No, we haven't got Toad Goop or Healing Honey, so that was a bit of a waste.
Boo.
Should have asked us for both in the first place. So 1 gold piece. Just put 1 gold piece in the slot and place your Hover's Storm Crystal in the chamber. When you do so, there is a loud whirring noise and the little Storm Crystal begins to glow brightly. The tiny tempest inside whirls away happily. So we want to go to Altos, don't we?
Yes, because we need to go to the little goblin, which you are right, Matt. He wanted a cabbage leaf.
But the dog, most
And
importantly.
we've got the other thing as well, haven't we?
So you decide to visit Altos, the water island. You check the hovers, make a running jump, and take off, leaving the green fields of Cirrus behind you. Is that it? Yeah. Rach.
You guide your hovers towards Altos. You've not had a chance to visit it before during a brief time in the Sky Watch, and as you descend, the sentient clouds which are found there,
where we're from.
known as cloudkins, scatter like frightened sheep. Some of them shed a little water as they float speedily away from you. You drink in the beautiful sight of Altos from above, lakes, rivers, and waterfalls sparkle in the sunshine. But your joy, this has happened to us already. But your joy in seeing Altos, you fly too close to a mother cloudkin who has several young cloudkin drifting around her. The young ones flee to their mother in fright, and they fold themselves into their fluffy cloudy depths. She angrily lashes out with a bolt of lightning which strikes your hovers and sends you tumbling to the ground. -3.
Yeah,
really,
this has happened to us, hasn't it?
That seems a bit unfair that we get -3 again. There should be like a thing of, oh, if you've been here before, go here.
But were we with the farmer before? And wasn't this the first? Yeah, this was the first fight we had, wasn't it?
Yeah, so do we have to do it again? I don't understand.
So we've got to fight the Stormkin.
But we've killed it.
Yeah, but it never asked.
But she's already teamed up with us and given us that staff.
Yeah, but the book hasn't asked us for. The book hasn't said if this has happened, do something different.
Well, I don't agree with this. That's all I'm saying.
There's another Stormkin. She's fighting the Stormkin again.
And she doesn't know who we are. We don't know who she is.
So 10 and 10, but she adds 2 points to our attack strength and increases our damage by 1 point. So we've got...
What does she add? +2?
Yeah. Or was it 3? No, just 2 to the attack strength and 1 to the damage. So 12 is our base and 10 is theirs. So they hit us for 18 and we hit them back for 15. She reduces the damage we take by 1, but we have also got the helmet that might reduce it. Nope. They hit us for 17. We hit back for 14. Does the helmet reduce the damage? Oh, she reduces the damage by 1 though, just innately.
Yeah, I did that last time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
No, the helmet doesn't reduce our damage. Okay. They hit us for 18. We hit back for 24. So 2 damage to them.
3.
Oh yeah, 3 damage to them. They hit us for 14. And we hit back for 19. So another 3 damage to them. They hit us for, oh dear, 20. And we hit back for not 20. So they do a damage to us.
Roll 1 die.
Oh yeah. Does the helmet prevent it? Nope. They hit us for 19. And we hit back for more than 19, isn't it? It's 21. Because the +2 she provides. So shall we try the luck and just see if we can...
Well, we may as well.
No, unfortunately. We rolled higher, so we do 1 less
What are we
damage.
using here? Oh no, just a no.
So we lose a luck. And we do 1 less damage. So the another round of combat has to happen anyway. So... They hit us for 17, and we hit back for 18. There we go. So we took a fair bit of damage from that. And then we're on to our entries that we've done. We just... It's because we're coming back with the things now, aren't we? So yeah, we know it's our friend Nemi. She's going to come with us. All of this stuff. She gives us a healing potion. So we've got a healing potion. Should we just use it? Get back to 12. We know that Nemi's with us. She gives us that bonus. Remember that she's got the +2
I'll put it
with
on
us in
our
there.
skill.
So we want to go towards the waterfall, don't we?
Yeah.
Have we been towards the Altos watch house? No, we've never been to the
No.
watch house, have we? Because you wanted to go straight to the waterfall. So should we go there?
Sure.
We might have something that we're missing.
You set off for the watch house, taking the most direct route through an expanse of marshy land, whilst wondering who might still be left there, and why they missed the meeting on Nimbus. As you ponder this, you hear a low rumbling sound. Fearing it might be another Storm King, you ready your weapon. Suddenly, a globule of sticky goo flies through the air, straight towards you. Catch the honey.
And unfortunately, no. Our luck's now only 7. So we haven't been lucky there.
The globule hits your arms, gluing it to a tree. The slime is also slightly acidic and burns your skin. Lose 3 stamina. A giant toad waddles out of the swamp, blocking your path. It readies itself to launch another gloopy missile in your direction. Desperation lends you the strength to pull your arm free, so we can either fight the creature or use a calming potion.
Well, we want the calming potion on the creature, don't we? The other thing, which is the only way around, so I think fight there. So that is a giant toad. You square up to the giant toad, preparing to battle it to the death, for one of you at least. Skill 5, stamina 7. So it hits us for 13, and we hit back for loads, 21. So 3 damage there. Nemi's with us. It hits us for 9.
What stamina did it start off with?
7. And we hit back for 17. So another 3 damage. I don't think we want to try the luck. And then it hits us for 12. And we hit back for 24. I think. Yep, so done. Nice, easier fight. 181.
Giant toad disintegrates into a gelatinous heap. You notice some of the goo sticking to a nearby leaf. It has incredible sticking powers. You wrap the leaf around the sticky substance and carefully tuck it away. So we've got sticky toad.
Continue towards the watch house. You arrive at the Altos watch house. You try the door but discover it's locked. You press your ear to the wood. As Nemi said, the sound of loud snoring can be heard coming from inside. You need to get inside somehow. If Nemi is with you, she is. Oh.
Nemi examines the door. Doesn't look too tough. Let's barge it down together. You ready yourselves? 1, 2, 3, shouts Nemi. You both ram the door. Thunk. The wood splinters around the lock and the door flies open. You head inside. You find yourself within the familiarity of your own watch house and follow the sound of the snoring. It seems to be coming from the small back room off the barracks. As you enter, you hear a whooshing noise and catch sight of a log heading towards your face. Test your skill.
So our skill's 9, isn't it? Yep. 225.
You duck skillfully and roll out of the way. The log whooshes by your head.
Altos is our home isle.
You stand up to see Galen Hillcroft, a fellow Altos Skywatch recruit, looking confused and holding a burning log from the fire. "It's you!" Galen exclaims. "Well, how did you get out of the city?" He stops himself. You feel the anger rising within you. Did he know what was going to happen? Before he can react, you pin him against the wall, with your sword at his neck, and demand he tells you what he knows. "Nothing, I swear. I just got a message saying not to go to the meeting at the Citadel on Nimbus this morning. It didn't say why. When I saw what happened, I decided to hide out here. I think I dozed off for a minute or 2. You ask him who sent the message. He's reluctant to answer, and although you hate to threaten a fellow Skywatch officer, This is not a time for secrets. You push your sword against his throat. Easy, easy. You know me. I wouldn't do something like this, would I? He's right. You're having a hard time believing Galen is responsible for bringing down Nimbus. He's far too lazy for a start. You relax your grip and lower your sword. Galen seizes the opportunity and shoves you back hard. By the time you regain your balance, he has grabbed a sword of his own. Only one of us is getting out of this watch house alive, and I'm telling you now, pal, it's gonna be me.
We're fighting Galen with skill 7 and stamina 7, but as soon as, if his hit points get to 3 or fewer, we turn to a certain page at once. So Galen hits us for 17, and we hit back for 18. So 3 damage. Galen hits us for 15. And we hit back for 19. So there we go. Where's my bookmark? Where were we? Oh, there we are. If you manage to reduce your opponent's stamina to 3 points or fewer, go to 374 at once.
You raise your sword to dispense the killing blow. No, no, please, please, he begs. Don't do this. If you let me live, I won't cause any trouble and I'll find a way to help you, I swear. Do we decide to let him live?
Do you think, Rach?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Although a lot of people did die when Nimbus fell to the ground. You lower your sword and tell him that he better not cross your path again, or you won't be so merciful. Thank you, he whimpers. I'll find a way to help you, I promise. He passes you a crumpled note. See, I was telling the truth. And with that, he dashes out of the door. Add the code word, Galen, to your adventure sheet. You unfold the note. It reads, whatever you do, don't go to the Nimbus this morning. Your friend, Paxlow. You recognise the name as that being of a goblin who works on Esperitas, the island of Technomancy. You also find an apple. Right, so we've got Galen.
Yeah, and then you've got a crumpled note in the equipment box. And an apple in provisions. It's worth 2 stamina. I think just eat it.
Yeah.
You leave the watch house if you haven't visited the Great Waterfall, or we have. I don't know, we have visited the Great Waterfall, but not on this visit, so I'm going to say that we can do it, because otherwise we've got to go around again. So you head out to the waterfall. The water's dark. Do you want to try the water this time? Or do you want to skip past it again? No. So we walk past, we find paw prints. Do we want to go to the flyer instead? No, we want to follow the paw prints. It's like the first thing that we did. You follow them, they come to a cave. Do you want to go into the cave or do you want to run away? You want to go in the cave. Is Nemi with you? Yes.
Use the calming potion.
We now have a calming potion, so we will use it. 25. You hurl the calming potion towards Flaps, who grabs it in his teeth. The bottle breaks and the liquid pours into his mouth. It works quickly and Flaps starts to shrink in size. The glow leaves his eyes and his fur stops sparking. Flaps shakes his head and looks confused. Then he bounds forward and covers you both and Nemi in wet licks. Okay, boy, okay, enough, laughs Nemi, stroking Flaps' fur. You go back to the farm and wait for me there. Flaps barks, bounds out of the cave and takes off, heading for the Cloudkin farm. Thank you for that, says Nemi. If Flaps had been left much longer, he'd have been beyond saving. Gain 1 luck point. She rummages in the dirt at the back of the cave. What's this? She picks up a longsword and dusts it off. You take it, she says. A thank you from me and Flaps. Record the longsword on your adventure sheet. If you use this in battle, you increase your attack strength by 1 point. Oh, and here. Nemi's eagle eyes have spotted something else in the cave. She passes you 2 gold pieces. So we go to the Goblin Flyer.
The Goblin Fire. Oh, we've already done this, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Give him a cabbage leaf.
Yeah, we can give him a cabbage leaf. Because he needs a bit of healing. But the other flyer needs to give us the cabbage leaf. Or maybe this one will take us there now we've given him.
You give him the supposed cure and tell him that it might help with his current condition. He sniffs it closely. You know, I think you're right, Critch says cheerfully. Give it a few minutes to work and I'm sure I'll be up to piloting the flyer. I'm only licensed to take you to Incus. Take the North Flyer port from there for Asperitus. If you want to visit Cirrus or Cumulus, you'll need to use your hovers.
So we're going to go to the new island, don't we?
Let's do it. And we have got an Incus ledger when we get there.
Yeah.
The Goblin Flyer brings you safely to Incus, the fishing island. You try to recall what you know about the island. Unlike the other residents of the archipelago, the Incus fishermen have been granted direct access to the Ocean of Tempest by Pangaria's authorities. Incus also floats lower than the other islands, which makes this easier. Various craft are built and used by the Incus Islanders to trawl the ocean, bringing fresh fish, seaweed, coral, shells and other seaborne bounties to the lands above. The craft are embedded with storm crystals which allow them to fly up and down from Incus as required. Due to the protective arms of the giant Zephyrus Tempest, the section of ocean directly under the archipelago is usually a calm and rich fishing ground. The main dangers are the larger and more ferocious aquatic creatures who share these waters. Only the hardy can survive the ocean of tempests, and they are best left well alone. However, the needs of a civilization, even a small one like Pangaria, are varied, and so the fishermen of Incus must often venture beyond the Zephyrus Tempest and into the wider ocean. There, the rougher seas require subaquatic craft known as bathyspheres, which can hunt and gather below the waves, although they are noisier and more cumbersome, and therefore run a greater risk of disturbing the local fauna. Incus also receives limited trade from trusted sources on the mainland, though the islanders are careful not to let them set foot on the archipelago. Very occasionally, Pangarian fishermen have rescued shipwreck survivors from their waters. If those survivors require aid that cannot be administered by the fishermen themselves, they are taken to Pangaria and given aid in sanctuary. Permanent sanctuary, keeping the secrets of Pangaria safe, is one of the first rules that every islander learns. You disembark. We do have the code word Galen. You were just about to set off into Incus when a cloaked figure runs up and presses a small package into your hand. Galen says thank you, the figure hisses, before running off. You carefully open the package. It contains 2 gold pieces and a potion of proficiency. Can't even say it.
Seems like Galen kept his word to help you.
How much gold did we have? Oh my god.
Have you just rubbed it out?
I think it was 7.
You can press undo and find out if you just rubbed it out.
Potion of proficiency. Does it say what that does?
Yep. If you drink the potion, you can ignore any penalties you suffer from using your weapon of choice and add 2 points for your attack strength for the duration of 1 battle only. The piece is interrupted by the sound of screams and clashing metal. You follow the noise towards one of the docks. You reach it to find a couple of fishermen in a frantic battle with an enormous crustacean. You fear the energies released from the explosion on Nimbus are responsible. The fishermen aren't faring at all well, and you see them get swept aside by the creature's massive claws before it starts smashing through some nearby boats. It's up to you to stop it now. Giant crab. Skill 8, stamina 9. I don't think we used the potion, do we?
Anymore, have we?
Oh, yeah. Well, it didn't say that she stays behind.
Maybe just forgot.
Why assume that? I think if you go onto one of the other base islands, mate, I don't know. It definitely never said that she left us, did it?
No, it didn't.
So, if it's a typo, I'm not looking it up. I don't know if maybe if the other islands say they leave you. If you go to another main island, another like starting island, it tells you, doesn't it? But it didn't tell us this time. So I assume that she's come with us. So it hits us for, ouch, 19. And we hit back for 17. So it hits us for 1. Oh, the helmet. Does it work? Nope. It hits us for 16. We hit it for loads. 3 damage on it. The giant crab hits us for 12, and we hit it back for 17. So we do 3 damage to it. It hits us for 15, and we hit back for 21. There you go. Uh, 199.
When you finally dispatch the corrupted crustacean, the fishermen come out of hiding looking extremely relieved. "Unbelievable," says one of them, shaking his head in amazement. "One moment I'm walking through the fresh catches shed, and the next thing I know I'm fighting for my life." "Still, this'll feed a few families for weeks," says another, examining the corpse. One of the fishermen gets a large shell saw and starts to use it on one of the monster's large claws. He uses a few more implements on it and finally hands you the pincer and some of the crab meat. The crab pincer smells a bit fishy, but it can be used like a club. So if you use the pincer in battle, you must reduce your strength by 1, but increase the damage by 1.
Okay.
So we've got a pincer, crab, pincer. So that is -1 strength.
And the crab meat will restore 3 stamina.
Plus
You ask the fishermen if they know what caused the Nimbus to fall.
What have we got? Crab meat, sorry. Crab flesh.
Crab meat will restore 3 stamina. Your guess is as good as ours, says the fisherman who gave you the pincer. We lost a few good boats when the Nimbus came down, one of the bathyspheres too. We tried to reach them, but the waters became too choppy, and a huge storm came in, pushing us away from the island. We had to bring all the boats up as fast as possible. You're curious to know what happened to the Nimbus after it landed in the water. It was still afloat when I brought my boat up, chimes in another fisherman, but things down there were getting very dangerous. All this fog came in and gale force winds. Never seen it that bad. You decide to ask the fisherman how you can get down to the Nimbus.
"I wouldn't if I were you, officer. Not until the storms pass. But if you're hell-bent on reaching it, I'd say that you'd have to take one of our bathyspheres. That means going to see Matix. You can usually find her at the main bathysphere shed at the East Dock, or at her home near the North Flyer port. If you have the Incus ledger page from Cirrus and want to ask them about it, turn 308.
We do.
You show the fisherman the ledger page you found on Cirrus. "It's from here," one of the men confirms, peering at it closely. "Don't recognise that name, though. It's no one from Incus. Might be something to do with that ship from the mainland that went down a few months back. Don't know much about it. Maybe ask around." So to look for Matix on the East Dock, turn to 242. To head for her home in Incus, turn to 161. Look on the dock. Look on the dock. Look on the dock. Matix. I'm going to say Matix. You head towards the East Docks, hoping to find Matix and commandeer one of the bathyspheres to take down to the fallen Nimbus. You realise that you've never piloted one before, but then again, you've done a lot of things you've never done before in the last few hours. Suddenly, the feeling of responsibility and fear washes over you. Your mind is buzzing, but your pace slows. You need a rest. You spot a shed nearby with an empty hammock strung up inside. You try not to think about what might have happened to the fisherman who used it last. Do we rest for a few hours or continue to the dock?
What do you think, Rach?
Well, I mean, like Matt said, always be napping. Looking around carefully to check that no one is watching, you clamber into the hammock. Its gentle movement soon rocks you to sleep. You dream of floating metal eyeballs following your every movement and a giant metal hand reaching down from the storm clouds to crush you. You awaken feeling refreshed. Restore 3 stamina. But then suddenly find yourself roughly jerked out of the hammock. You go to pick yourself up off the floor and see a pair of black boots in front of you. Expecting to look up at the enraged fisherman whose hammock you've been caught napping in, you're horrified to find yourself face to face with a large, pulsating octopus. Pulling yourself upright, you realise that you are half right. The octopus is attached to a man's head, completely obscuring his skull. Its body crackles with elemental energy, and its tentacles are wrapped around the man's torso and arms. Human and cephalopod have become one hulking, enraged creature that has you in its sights. When you reduce it to 5 or fewer, what is it, 10 and 10?
Mm-hmm.
And we've restored 3 health.
So it hits us for 17, and we hit back for 14. So it does hit us for 1 damage. Presumably we've got Nemi with us.
Roll for the helmet.
Oh yeah. It does prevent the damage.
Take none then.
It hits us for 16, and we hit it back for 17. So it takes
3.
It hits us for 18, and we hit back for 16. So it hits us.
Roll for the helmet.
Nope. So we take 1 damage. Octoman hits us for 21. And we hit it for 22. So when its health got to 5, wasn't it?
Yeah. The octopus abruptly releases its hold on the wretch and drops to the ground, leaving the fisherman gasping for breath. If you want to try and speak to the man, turn to 266. If you prefer to finish him while you have the advantage, continue the fight, and if you win, 213. We'll talk to him, surely. Maybe it's not his fault. The octopus slithers away through a gap in the floor. The fisherman coughs and splutters as he struggles to catch his breath. He tells you his name is Caleb. You ask him how he came to be in such a predicament. I just brought my boat up after the Nimbus fell and the storm set in, Caleb wheezes. I was cleaning her hull and suddenly I feel something drop on my head and... not sure of much after that or how long I've been stumbling around for, but somehow I made it back here. Caleb's breathing starts to settle. He thanks you for your help and gives you 2 gold pieces. And we get a look.
Ever since we saw that last shipwreck, nothing's gone right, he mutters. I mean, it was there in the name, Doombringer. Doesn't exactly bode well, does it? It's pressing for more information on the Doombringer. Should we do that?
Yeah. I mean, why call this shit Doombringer? You tell Caleb about your investigations and ask him to tell you more about this Doombringer. Oh, it's a few weeks back, explains Caleb. Great big vessel. Got caught between a couple of tempests. Nasty business. Rescued 1 survivor, but the ship sank like a stone. He starts to cough again. To ask about the survivor, turn to 281. To ask if there's anything else he knows about the Doombringer, 33.
Which one?
Goes to the dock. Survivor. There's a survivor. Where are they now? Tell me. You know that occasionally the fishermen have been known to rescue shipwreck survivors from the tempestuous waters below Pangaria and, when possible, return them home. Once in a blue moon, a survivor will need to be brought up to the archipelago for healing and ends up becoming a permanent resident of Pangaria. You ask Caleb if he knows any more about the survivor. He was pretty close to death when we got to him, recalls Caleb. We had to bring him up here or he wouldn't have made it. If you want to ask him the man's name, turn to 144 or... I think we ask about the man's name. You ask Caleb if he can remember the survivor's name. He thinks for a minute and rubs his neck. You notice there are still nasty red sucker marks where the octopus gripped him. Military, I think. High up. Sergeant, I think. No, Commander, that's it. Commander Tell something. If you have the ledger from the Cirrus watchhouse, show it to Caleb.
We do, don't we?
We do. You show Caleb the ledger page with Commander Matthias Talaman written on it and the words, "Where is he?" scrawled next to the name. Talaman! That's it, that's the one! Where is he? Someone seems interested in his whereabouts. Wonder why. The last I heard he was recuperating with the Renard family over near the North Docks. Not seen them for a while though, so no idea how he's doing it. How he's doing. Renard.
Caleb starts coughing even harder, like he's struggling for breath again. He rubs his chest as if it's causing him pain. Do you want to ask him about the Doombringer? We already have, so we will leave him in peace and continue our journey.
Well, there might be more information
It
about
says if you haven't already asked him.
Caleb seems like he could do with some rest. You're about to go when he starts choking, as if he's swallowed something. You go to help him. He pulls at his shirt, exposing his chest, and to the horror of you both, tentacles can be seen moving under his skin. The creature on his head must have laid something inside him. He gurgles and cries out as his skin starts to heave and stretches. Whatever is inside him fights to get out. His eyes plead with you to end his torment.
What do you want to do, Rach?
Oh, man. I'm not making that decision. You can make it. I've made every other decision.
Rach. This is
So
a key Jackson
can
decision.
make that decision. I'm not making that decision.
Put him out of his misery.
Oh, no. You take your sharpest blade and finish Caleb before whatever is inside him can do the job for you. You drive your weapon into the massive tentacles beneath his skin and they seize their movement. You're very glad that you never had to see what they belonged to. Leaving the poor Caleb lying on the floor of the shed, you hurriedly leave, feeling it is urgent that you finish your quest before any more islanders suffer such a horrible fate. We do have the code word. Where do you want to go now?
The Renard house.
Obviously.
So we don't know if that option will come up again.
Can just have to wait. You head for the Renard house Caleb told you about. You can't remember the last time someone from the outside world was brought to Pangaria. You've always thought it was a little unfair that they weren't allowed to return to their homeland. But given that the alternative would be death, then building a new life in Pangaria is hardly the worst thing to have to endure. You finally reach the Renard house on the edge of the island. It is quiet and there's no answer when you knock at the door. That's unusual. Someone should be home at this time of the day. You push the door gently and it swings open. You gingerly head inside. As you enter the house, you call out to the Renard family. There's no answer. The house is in a complete mess. It looks like a hurricane got trapped inside. Furniture is upended, books and toys lie strewn about, and pictures have been knocked off the walls. It's very strange. There's a creaking above you, and the sound of breaking wood. Test your luck. We're back to the 9 now.
Yep, we are lucky.
Lucky. You manage to jump out of the way as part of the ceiling comes down on the spot where you were just standing. You also start to notice strange marks on the walls of the house, like ridges or large scratches. Something very strange has happened to the Renard home. We do have the Storm Crystal Shard. Is that Methodius' shard?
Yeah, he was on Cirrus, wasn't he?
You take out the Storm Crystal and look at it. The damage on the inside of the crystal is a miniature version of what you can see all around you. Perhaps you weren't that far off when you thought that it looked like the place had been hit by a hurricane. If you want to explore upstairs, turn to 42. Thankfully, the stairs leading to the upper level are still intact, even though part of the floor has collapsed. Like downstairs, there are no signs of life, and it looks like a storm is blowing through the place. You decide to search for any clues that might tell you what happened in the Renard house, but find nothing of note. That is, until you happen upon a small, sparsely furnished and surprisingly neat room. This would seem completely normal, were it not for the destruction and chaos you have seen everywhere else in the house. If you decide that the neat little room needs further examination, turn to 296. As you explore the little room, your eye is drawn to a glint under the bed. You crawl under and find a small brass button that looks like it belongs to a uniform of some kind, perhaps military. You suspect that this may be where Commander Talaman was staying. So we can add the brass button to the list. As you're pulling yourself out from under the bed, you notice a tiny bit of paper sticking out from under the skirting board. You try to pull it out with your fingertips.
We are lucky, just about. Oh, looks 9. You need to roll equal or less.
Success! You manage to pull the paper out. It looks like it's fallen out of a diary. The handwriting is smudged and spidery, but you can just make out the following lines. Pangaria guards its secrets like a dragon squatting on gold, and like such a hoard, their secrets will command a great price on Cull. Krasik and Boreas see the potential here. The goblin is building something which can be brought to Ankelm in secret. Once Boreas frees me from this place, I will return and tell my commanders of the devastating potential within our grasp. Then we will find the highest bidder. You recognise Krasik as being the chief engineer responsible for maintaining the Technomancy, which underpins all of Pangaria. Sounds like he has been developing something in secret. But what? And did this cause the fall of Nimbus? At first you felt you had some answers, but now you're feeling as if you've got more questions.
If you showed the storm crystal shard to Methedus, did we? We didn't, did we? I think he gave it to us.
I mean, we've got Methedius' shard. Is that the storm crystal shard?
I'm not sure.
I'm confused now.
Did you say it is?
I think so.
It might be
We
cheating, but
didn't we give him the storm crystal shard, then he gave us that back?
yeah, he definitely. We did something with him, and he gave us a shot. Methedus' shard back.
Just do it. Do you know what? We're doing it. The name Boreas is familiar to you. You remember Methedius telling you that he was a Stormborn who made the storm crystal that landed in Cirrus, and that he also felt his presence in Nimbus when it fell. Perhaps Boreas has been making storm crystals for whatever Krasix has been working on in secret. You exit the room and look at the chaos in the house, and the deep grooves on the walls. Now you know how deeply a Stormborn was involved. You can't help but think that maybe Boreas was behind the destruction that wreaked this havoc. You suspect foul play is at work, although there are no bodies to prove that. But from what that diary entry said, there may be even worse to come for Pangaria. There's nothing left to do but press on. When asked for directions to Matix's house, everyone you speak to tells you to follow the sound of banging and cussing. You soon hear noises that sound like a wheelbarrow being hit with a brick. Thunk, clonk, clang, and a voice saying, "You son of a rancid hoggy mule! You fetid pile of badger excrement! Work, damn you, work!" Bang, crash, thunk, ouch! My thumb! At the source of the sound, you find a bathysphere hanging from the rafters of a large workshop, attached to a much smaller house and surrounded by every conceivable tool and mechanical part. The bathysphere is a spherical craft made from reinforced metal, with small porthole-like windows in its sides and a larger one at the front that also doubles as an entry hatch. You notice small storm crystals embedded in the bottom and large mechanical claws stretching forward from each side. The nameplate on the side of the bathysphere reads Barnacle. You call out Matix's name.
I'm not sure why the Patreon bot doesn't work. Just decided to stop working one day. Like, it's turned on.
A goblin head pokes out of the guts of the bathysphere, covered in grime and looking very frustrated. "You don't happen to have a what's-it on you, do you?" she asks you in an exasperated tone. You're pretty sure you don't, even if you knew what one was. "How about a thingy?" Still nothing, and you're just as confused. You explain to her that you have no idea what she's asking for, but you do have a pressing need to commandeer the Barnacle in the name of the Skywatch. She emerges from the bathysphere, wiping her hands. Is that right? Well, seeing as this is the only bathysphere that's even part way running right now, officer, I'd say you need to do a bit more work than just commandeer it. You apologise for your brusqueness and tell her that you're the only Skywatch officer still active on the archipelago, and you're trying to find out what happened on Nimbus. You need a way to get down on the island and navigate the rough waters. Matix looks up and down appraisingly. I like the cut of your jib, officer. At least someone around here is trying to do something and not running around like a headless chicken. Tell you what, if you can find me a thingy in either a doobry or a what's-it, I can finish repairing the barnacle and then I'll lend her to you. She points towards a small contraption that looks like those you've seen at the Goblin flyer ports. You can charge your hover crystal in that, she says. 1 gold piece per charge. Very reasonable, I'd say. But we do have the strange metal object. Oh, if we have to fly to another island, that's honestly... You give Matix the strange metal object that fell off the flying contraption that was spying on you in the Cirrus watchhouse. Ah, a doobry, she says, looking pleased. I think this should work in place of a what's-it, but I'll still need a thingy, and of course if you do find a what's-it on your travels, I'll give you something handy in return. To charge your hovers and fly to Asperitas, the Isle of Technomancy, turn to 384.
So it's 1 gold, isn't it? You grudgingly give a gold piece to Matix and ask her to charge up your hovers so you can fly to Asperitas. Sure thing, put your storm crystal in the slot and I'll fill her up. Once your storm crystal is fully charged, Matix gives you some final instructions. Now once you find a thingy and either a doobry or a what's-it, bring them back to me here. There should be a couple of places you can charge your hovers on the other islands. You strap on the hovers and take off for Asperitas, the island of Technomancy. Uh-oh.
Feeling a little more in control of your hovers now, you head in the direction of Asperitas. This is the island of Technomancy, the mechanical magic that underpins the levitation enchantments of the archipelago. From the air, the island is a mess of workshops and laboratories from which a cacophony of clangs and thumps mixed with bubbling and fizzing noises can be heard. You're close to landing when you hear a loud bird-like scream and 2 harpies descend on you from out of the sky. You have no choice but to fight them together before you can land.
If you come across more than one creature in a particular encounter, the instructions on that page will tell you how to handle the battle. Sometimes you treat them as a single monster, sometimes you fight them each in turn. So if you manage to kill the first one, you get a chance to pull the second one to the ground. So 7 and 6 is the first fight. So they're fighting us for 15, and we've got 12 plus 6, 18. So 3 damage there. They hit us for 9 plus 7, 16. And we hit back for 9 plus 12, 21. Another 3 damage. So we kill the first one. You get a chance to pull the second one to the ground. So we'll just do some damage. 5. So we do 4 points of damage to the second harpy, which has only got 6 skill. So, oh dear. So that is 17 versus 22. Managed to kill a, yep. 1, 5, 6. The monstrous harpies lie dead at your feet. You can't help but think this wasn't a random attack. They were lying in wait for you, but you try not to dwell on this fact too long. Your eyes and ears are drawn to a gathering of goblins who are arguing amongst themselves in a small square. We need to get down there. It's too dangerous. We must wait for the storm to pass. Then get the Stormborn to go down there. They say there's a ward preventing them from getting close to Nimbus. You consider introducing yourself, but you can't get a word in edgeways. We need to come up with a plan. Who put you in charge? Well, someone's got to be. But why should it be you? I never said it should be me. You look around at the squabbling goblins and know that you stand a better chance of sprouting wings from your ears than they do of agreeing on a plan. You spy a young goblin busy cleaning vials and jars outside one of the workshops. You tell the goblin you're a member of the Skywatch, and a look of horror crosses the goblin's face. He's so shocked he drops the vial he's been cleaning and it smashes on the floor. It wasn't me. I didn't have anything to do with it. It was Paxlow and Pox. Well, probably. I mean, I don't know for sure, but he babbles. This is quite a reaction. You ask the goblin his name and he tells you that it's Uric. To ask Uric what he's referring to, turn to 135. To lie and tell Uric that you know he was behind it, turn to 372. To help him pick up the pieces. What do you think, Rach?
I don't want to help him, don't we? Also, we know Packlow's dodgy.
Yeah. So you want to help him pick up the
I
pieces?
think it would be nice to him. You help Uric pick up the broken pieces of the vial. He looks relieved. Oh, thank you, officer. I'm so clumsy. That's the third I've broken today, the goblin says worriedly. They're going to start taking it out of my wages if I'm not careful. I've just been so jittery lately. To ask him what's on edge, turn to 4. To give him 1 gold piece to help pay for the damage, turn to 169.
What do you think, Rach?
Help him pay for the damage. We'll get something for helping him, won't we? You give him 1 gold piece and apologise for frightening him. A most appreciated, officer. Look, what I said earlier about not having anything to do with Nimbus falling, I didn't, but I think I know who did. A goblin by the name of Pox, or could be his brother Paxlow. Several months back they started putting together a team to go work in Krasik's workshop on Nimbus. The young goblin seems to want to unburden his soul, so you let him talk. A plum job, double wages, but I smelled something off about it. If we took the job we weren't allowed to tell anyone what we were working on, and we had to sleep in the workshop. I liked my bed too much to give that up, so I said no. They didn't like that. I've not seen them round here since the Nimbus went down. Look, wherever Pox and Paxlow go, trouble follows. That's all I'm saying. Anything else I can help you with? But be quick about it. We do have the code word, has he? You ask Uric where you can find Elder Technomancer Vizik's home. To the west in an old bell tower. Right, I gotta get going, officer. Good luck. He takes a full vial and passes it to you. It's a greater potion of might. So it will raise our attack strength by 2 and restore 2 stamina points and gain a luck point. He then heads back into the workshop. Do you want to carry right while I'll just sort this out?
You decide where to go next. There's the residential area, which is a little greener and quieter, and the workshop and laboratory section of the island, which is busier and more closely built up. You also notice a nearby device which charges up storm crystals. You can use it to get charged and return to Matix or in Incus when you need to. Do you want to head west towards the residence or north into the maze of workshops and labs? Have you written all of the things in?
No.
Keyword Vizig.
Yeah, done that.
So I'm thinking we've still got to do stuff on this island, and then we've got to go back to the other one and go to another island. I don't think that we should probably have ended it after we went from the first set of islands, but I think it's going to be it's going to have to be something we return to because
2 hours, 18 minutes.
Otherwise, like, what do you think? Or do you want to just carry on and go through and until we reach the end?
No, we've surely got a bit of time left here.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, lots to do.
Yeah. So you think there should be a part 2
Probably.
at some point? Pause here just before we actually go into the. We've done the unlocking story bit of this. Before we unlock like the actual technomancy portion of it, I think like we've done a huge chunk of it. I don't think there's a massive amount left, but there's a significant bit left. Like we're probably going to have to fight people that are behind this nefarious plot. For now, though, I mean, I don't know when there will be a part 2. Let us know. Like, demand one. Maybe after in the new year, perhaps. We'll see. Try and do summits maybe around New Year's, but we don't really know if we're about. So look out for news on that. For now, though, we're going to have to leave it there. And yes, thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for being here. This is potentially the last stream of this year. So thanks for watching for any portion of it, and thanks for your support on Patreon and Ko-fi and all of that. Hey, if you'd like to support and you aren't already, then the link's in the description. The robot is not working at the moment, unfortunately, to link it to you in the chat. Thanks everyone for being here. There's still more playthroughs coming up on Patreon and on the channel next week. There just won't be any live streams in the next week, but there's still stuff coming up. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that. The top 10 is coming tomorrow as well. The top 10 of the year. There's been amazing games this year, and I'll blabber on about them for a bit. Thank you everyone for being here though, and we will see you all fairly soon. We'll see you all probably when it's 2023. But have a lovely Christmas, everyone, or whatever you're doing, and we'll see you very soon. Bye. Bye. Marty didn't come the entire time, did he?
No.
I don't know where he is. Sorry, everyone. There's just been a.
See if you want a last 2022 look.
Yeah, let's go and find Marty.
BRB.
Yeah, there's what I said. The last episode of Rise of Fenris is coming. There is another Marvel Champions, Storm versus the Sentinels, and there is a bonus playthrough of Agents of Smirch, which I've been meaning to do for years. It's the old one. It's not the new epic one, although maybe we'll get to that and see if it's better or not, because I do love an Agents of Smirch, and it's gonna take some doing. I'm gonna be probably quite fussy about the new one. Monty's probably been asleep by the radiators this entire time because the heating might have come on.
It has come on.
Yeah, he's been. That's why he hasn't bothered coming back up to us. He's been all lovely and comfy in front of a radiator. But here he is for his last appearance.
I'll give you some treats in a minute.
Where is he? Which bit do I make bigger? Oh. Oh. I can't get the adventure sheet out of the way. Oh, there it is. That one. That's why. There he is. Hi, Marty. You've got a beautiful bed all made up for you, and people want to see you. Oh. Well, there we go. There's a tiny little visit from Marty for now, and straight off camera. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you all very soon. Have a good time. Have a good Christmas. Have a good New Year's if you don't see you before then. And bye.
Bye.